Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Halloween edition of the Fan Cave Podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Bluedorn, aka Blue. On my whatever that way is, we got my co-host, Mr. Debo Mills, the light skin champion, Dylan Bosch, and we love to have guests on our show. One of my favorite repeat guests, the man, the myth, Mr. Kentucky Brad, Lawrence Perry. How are we doing,
Yes, sir.
boys? And before we get going, I got to start off with the old. All right, let's get her done, boys. Here we go. First of all, welcome everybody who's tuning in. And also, hey, it's Halloween, boys. Go ahead and give me a rundown on what your costume is as we jump into this thing. I know we threw them together at the last minute, but I am a construction worker. I think this is relevant because I'm every bad franchise because they're not bad. Just the road to success is always under construction. That is why I'm a construction worker. I got that grit and that toughness because I am this right here and I'm wearing this right here. Debo, what are you, brother?
I don't know if I should say the name of my costume. Let's just Muhammad Jihad.
That's so bad.
Wow.
That's so bad. All right, Brad, what do you got, brother?
I'm Kentucky Brad, man, because I'm a cowboy at heart, but a wildcat in the spirit. So
That is awesome.
I like it.
That is awesome.
This man came prepared. I told him to plan a costume like 5 minutes ago, and he's already got one ready. He came prepared today.
Kentucky.
All right, let's dive right into it. Let's get into the game tonight. We got the Cincinnati Bengals heading to the Cleveland Browns. It's a good matchup. I think I had the records here. I'm a great host here. We got the Bengals at 4-3 and the Browns at 2-5. The Browns they've been struggling as of late. They're just waiting for Deshaun Watson to come back and change the season around, which will not happen, but hopefully he comes in balls, but Jacoby Brissett's not getting it done. Brad, what's your take on the game, and who do you like in the game, brother?
I feel like the Bengals have started to find a little bit of a groove recently. Now, obviously, with Jamar Chase being out, it's going to be a huge loss. But, I mean, we all saw in the playoffs last year, if they don't just have Jamar Chase, they've got pretty solid receivers. So I think they'll probably fill in obviously, I don't think it'll be the same production, but I do think that Cincinnati has enough in the other receivers to just kind of, I guess, carry the weight in a way, just so they can spread it around a little bit more. But I think T. Higgins is a good receiver. I mean, I think they've got other guys, so I think they're okay.
Yeah. What's up, D?
I think it's going to be a classic AFC North Ohio showdown. I think it's going to be a slugfest. I don't know if it'll be too high scoring of a game. I think it'll just be one of those rivalry games. They both know what they like to run. They know their schemes, and I think it's just going to whoever has the most grit and wants to win this game is going to win this game.
It's a division rivalry game, Ohio game. These games are always close. I do not see it being a blowout either way. I think it's going to be very, very close, especially with the Bengals going to Cleveland. I think that really matters. I think if it was flip-flopped, I think it'd be a little bit more lopsided. I don't know what the spread is, but I'm sure it's close. I didn't look at it. Like I said, host of the year right here, not prepared like always.
It's Cincinnati by 3.
That's what I was going to say 3, I'd imagine. Perfect. Thank you, Brad. But I think the Bengals are going to pull it out. I think they probably will cover 3, but I think it's going to be down to the end. I'm sure Cleveland will make a mistake late, and I got the Bengals winning late in the game.
Dude, I have a question about the Browns. Did they permanently – is that their new center field logo? Is that little elf they have or whatever?
I don't know what it is, but I know McAfee was talking about it, but I really don't know anything about it. It says they have some elf as their logo. They got rid of the bulldog. I think that's not even a thing. The dog's not a thing, and it's not the dog pound anymore.
They
sad, man.
changed it.
Yeah, I don't understand. I think that's kind of gone thing of the past. I think the dog's gone. I think they brought in some elf. I don't understand it. Anything's like Brownie the elf. It makes no sense. I don't know anything about it, but it's not a good look. And their franchise is just going downhill. It's not a good look. Not a good look at all. All right. I know this show likes talking about NFL and college football. We're right in the thick of it. But we're going to hold off on that for a minute because we are a multi-sport show. I know all 3 of us here, we didn't really get blessed with the height gene, so we weren't really stud basketball players on this show. But we're going to talk about it anyway because you know what? It's a free country. We can do what we want. We run the show.
Dang right.
You're talking
So
about
we are going to
people.
jump into something that I put together,
Devo's
and
weak,
if it goes bad, it's my fault. But we're going to do a Battle of the Eras, NBA Eras tournament. We're going to throw it together.
It's a good team.
And I don't know how to do this, so hold on with me here, but I'm going to see if I can figure out how to get this slide off the screen here. I think if I do this, that, and this, it should pull up. Look at that. I'm a freaking genius.
Battle of the Eras.
Battle of the Eras NBA edition. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the 4 teams, the 4 eras of teams, and then I have a tournament bracket, and we're going to pick who's going to win. We'll make it quick, move on, and then we'll get into NFL football. But I figured why not talk about NBA basketball because of the new Jordan documentary, the old Jordan documentary, and the Redeem Team documentary. I thought it'd be a perfect time to talk about it. Debo, have you seen that yet? The Redeem Team documentary?
I have not.
You got to watch it, man. It's good stuff. They make Kobe look like a god that he was. He was incredible.
I'll compete for sure.
All right, well, let's get into the old school era team, the 60s and 70s team. Who are some of the standouts on this list? We got Big O, Jerry West, Dr. J, and then controversially, I got Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain in the starting 5. I couldn't put one in front of the other. I would have put Wilt in, but I figured that they're both better than Elvin Hayes, so I put them both in the starting lineup because nowadays, for this team to match up with any of the newer teams, I think they got to put a 6'10" forward in there because they got Anthony Davis, they got Giannis they got to compete with. So on this team, is there anybody that I forgot? Anybody you like in the bench that should be a starter, or do you think I got it right? What do you guys think?
I'm gonna need some Dolph Shays in there, bro.
Dolph Shays?
Who is Dolph Shays? I don't even know.
I've heard the name. I don't know. I don't know anything about him.
He's like the first Hall of Famer or something. He's just a little old white guy, man. He plays some basketball.
Well, I know this isn't really our era. I know that I don't believe we were born quite yet in the 60s and 70s, but it's all right. But I think this team, I don't know why. I want to throw a team together. I just kind of looked up on Google who the best players were in these eras, all decade teams. I don't know a thing about them. I know Elgin Baylor was a dog. Jerry West was potentially one of the best guards of all time. The Big O is a 6'9" Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
And the other two mean no description. Need no explanation. Let's dive into something we know more about. Debo, I'm coming to you first on this one. I left off Clyde Drexler. I put in Reggie Miller instead. I think Reggie was way more clutch. Much better fit for this team. Much better fit for this team, I think, because he's one of the most clutch guys, and he was one of the few people that would went up against Michael Jordan in a series and actually gave him a game. So that's why I really think Reggie Miller deserves it. I know controversially I put Isaiah Thomas on this team, knowing how much he hates Michael Jordan, but I can't put Chris Mullins. I can't put the guys ahead and then over him. I can't do it. Where do you think I went wrong, Debo, and what would you do instead?
I think Clyde needs to be on this list. I think that.
Who would you take out instead of him?
I would take out. Reggie Miller's he's a great spot-up shooter, but besides that, Reggie Miller wasn't like that.
He carried the franchise though to an NBA.
He as a spot-up shooter, but he wasn't like a ball handler. He wasn't great at passing. Clyde Drexler, I would say, is a more well-rounded player. If anything, maybe Clyde over Patrick Ewing, I guess. I don't know. I just think he needs to be in here. Me personally, especially you put Isaiah Thomas in here, I put him in over Isaiah Thomas. That's just me. But one of those two. Also, I think Chris Mullin is. I don't know if you understand how good Chris Mullin was.
He was a great shooter as well. He's just like Reggie Miller, a great shooter, a little taller.
He was a dog on defense though too. Don't get it twisted. Chris Mullin had some grit to him.
Yeah, Reggie Miller ran through Michael Jordan, ran through him to hit the game-winning shot in one of their series games. I mean, he was one of the most clutch shooters of all time. Brad, what do you got on this list? I want to say this before you go though. Every single one on this list, every single one of these lists that we have coming up, the 7 and 6 spot can be interchangeable with somebody else. 7, I just threw someone together that I thought would be best for the team. But 7, there's multiple guys you can put for the 7th spot on this list. Go ahead, Brad.
Yeah. It's for me, I'm trying to think of like, all right, if we're wanting this team to win today, who we put on there, I think then you got to put Reggie. You've got to have shooters who can pull from deep. I think Reggie, like you said, Reggie Miller had grit. Reggie Miller could have hung in today's NBA because he had the ability to stretch the floor while also he would D you up. He wanted to guard your best player. He was like a modern day who would be a good comparison?
Klay
like a Klay
Thompson.
Thompson. Klay Thompson. And I think he'd be a great fit in today's NBA. But I don't think you got anything wrong. I might have had Patrick Ewing up a little bit more because I think he was the Knicks for so long. But other than that, I think this list is probably pretty
The reason
pretty
why
solid.
I put Ewing at 7 because I had Akeem Olajuwon as my backup center. I don't want backup centers by each other. But another thing that I did, the one thing that I went back and forth on really a lot on this list was John Stockton or Gary Payton. That was legit the one that I went back and forth on because GP was the glove. He was incredible on defense. He didn't lock up Michael Jordan, but one game of the series that they had against each other, he made Michael Jordan not have 30 points. He shut him down for a little bit, slowed him down. But I had to if I had Karl Malone on the list, I had to put John Stockton in it because that duo was just too nasty. I couldn't have one, not the other.
I actually have. I don't know why. I feel like Karl Malone wouldn't have worked in today's NBA.
Yeah.
I feel like they would just have double teamed him when he got into the post. But I will say I do think that Gary Payton, if you put him in like the NBA from like 2009 to 2014, I think he's like perfect. He kind of reminds me of like a Hall of Fame version of like Tony Allen. He couldn't shoot. He was streaky at best from shooting the ball. But he could get you, 15, 20 a game if he had to. And he also, that man was, obviously one of the best defensive players of all time. So in today's NBA, would he have worked? Probably not, because you have to have 2 shooting guards. You have to have guards that can put the ball in the basket. You don't have to have 2 great defenders. But, just for the list in this era of basketball, I think this list probably suffices. And I'm a Sonics guy.
I would say Gary Payton's more of the 2000s. He didn't really play. He didn't get into the league till 97. So, he'd only have 3 years in this era. So, I'd say he's –
the reason why I threw him in the 90s is because the iconic battle he had with the Bulls and Jordan in the playoff. That's why I threw him in there, because he was one of the few guys that was able to slow Michael Jordan, actually slow him down.
No, I feel that, but I'm just saying, he just didn't play in the 80s.
Yeah, I get that.
Fair enough.
All right, let's move on to the Redeem Team era. I controversially have Allen Iverson at point guard. Only maybe I might be a homer, but I really like AI. I think he was fearless. He was unbelievable. He gave Kobe and Shaq. He did the best he could with the guys that he had. I think that starting 5 is absolutely nasty. I think that one and the bench on this team. Before you guys were supposed to be too bad, I went through and changed it, but it didn't show up here. I put Carmelo because these guys kind of gave me some jazz about Carmelo being the number 7 guy over. So Jason Kidd's out, Carmelo's in. Where else are you going to roast me on this list? I know Debo, you're not a big Chris Paul guy, but where did I go wrong on this list?
I'm putting Gary Payton in for Chris Paul on this list.
Okay.
Or I would. I'm not saying I am. I'm saying I would.
All right. Fair enough. You got anything else, Debo? Then we'll go to Brad.
No, everyone on that. This is a pretty solid list. Solid list.
I don't think you can put Gary Payton on this list. Gary Payton retired, and he was with the Sonics till 2003, and after that he wasn't the same. And he was more. I think Gary Payton's more of a '90s point guard, just because of that era of basketball. He really was one of the front faces. I don't see where you could change any of this list. I would put Kevin Durant higher, but it's bench, so it doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying? Right. They'd all be starters. I maybe would put. I think you got to. You nailed it on the head. I mean, I think that Allen Iverson is pound for pound the greatest, short, quote unquote, basketball player of all time.
Yeah.
No one else has taken that 76er team to the finals. I mean, did they get busted when they got there? Yeah, but in that era, no one could stop him. I mean, Allen Iverson got his anytime he wanted to, and he didn't ever have much help, so all the pressure was on him. He's one of the only players to ever come to Philadelphia and embrace the expectation. I think he was perfect for his franchise in that time. And I think he really is the reason that Philadelphia is still relevant today, because they went through a serious drought when he left. Had they not had that early success with AI, well, you're looking at a team like the Rockets or something today. But I think that he carried a franchise from one era to the next in a tweener phase. I think that Allen Iverson's great. Obviously, Kobe's the GOAT. LeBron's the GOAT. But, I think this list is pretty solid.
Man. Yikes. D-Wade as a 6-man is unbelievable.
And then KD, Tim Duncan and Shaq. Like, come on, man.
You know what the crazy thing is? Technically, AI is a shooting guard.
I know.
Isn't that nuts?
But the thing is though, I'm plugging him in over any other point guard in that era. I have to. I'm a big Steve Nash fan. I wanted him on the list, 2-time MVP, but I don't think he comes anywhere near it, because I think there's so many guys that are so much better.
Is this just like a heavily scorer list then? You're like primarily scoring? Because if we're talking about point guards, that's assisting, that's playing defense, that's being basically the quarterback.
That's why I got Chris Paul in there, is because he'd be the guy that can run the offense. That's why I put him in as the backup guard. And defensively, he's better than Nash, which sucks. Yeah. Steve Nash, my second favorite player all time. But
if we let's remember Steve Nash's numbers when he won that second MVP were interesting. Like that was up for debate.
He got it over Shaq is embarrassing, but
yeah. I mean, but still, Steve Nash put the Suns on the absolute map. I know that team; those teams were fun. I also think the only difference, and this is not, I'm not saying I would have changed it, but you could throw an argument, is for Derrick Rose. Yeah, obviously just because of what he was, but he got hurt. I mean, if he had stayed healthy, he's probably on this list, but he's not. I know if someone would see this, they'll be like, where's Derrick? I mean, he won an MVP, but still, there was a lot of good point guards in early 2000s, man. Like John Wall, that was his peak. Was in the. It is what it is.
Before I made this list, I watched a lot of the I wanted to get kind of a feel what the players said. So I watched a lot of interviews on YouTube about, I listened to Shaq, I listened to Reggie Miller, Isaiah Thomas, and this is kind of interesting to me. I thought it was kind of interesting. They said if you put at point guard, if you put excluding Chris Paul and AI, they said after those two, if you had Jason Kidd, Gary Payton, and Steve Nash all on a list, who are you picking to be on that squad? They all said Jason Kidd over those two. That actually shocked me. Reggie Miller, Isaiah Thomas, and Shaq, all of them, and Barkley. And Barkley all said that Jason Kidd was the best one out of those three. And I was kind of shocked hearing that. That's kind of why I put him in there. But I still have Melo over him. I should have replaced that. But Jason Kidd would be next on the list because of that reason.
Why does that shock you, though? Honestly, I think
a Nash 2-time MVP. I think unbelievable.
No, I'm talking about. I'm saying. I feel like even if you ask NBA players, a lot of them are putting Jason Kidd over Chris Paul. Just that I feel like I put Jason Kidd in Chris Paul's spot. If you don't think, I agree. If Gary Payton's not on here, I'd put Jason Kidd in Chris Paul's spot and put Melo on there, or put Melo in Chris Paul's spot and leave Jason Kidd at seven, whatever.
Yeah. But, the only thing it's hard because I listen to Shaq and Barkley say the same thing about how they think Chris Paul is one of the best leaders they've ever seen. So that's interesting.
He's a solid leader. He's just not good in clutch games.
Yeah, a lot of that's been injury, but yeah, I agree. All right, let's move on to I threw together
also Chauncey Billups too. Sorry, Chauncey Billups too. That still throws me off that he's not on there. That's big shot Billups, bro.
But who are you taking? You taking him over Chris Paul?
Of course. Chauncey
Oh,
Billups
my.
clutch.
No, Devo. No.
Chauncey Billups didn't hit game winners in NBA championships. Big shot Billups. You're tripping.
What about big shot Richard Hamilton, bro?
Rich Hamilton's cool.
Why is he
He's
not on
not.
the
He's
list?
not on Billups' level though.
Tayshaun,
Come on,
Big
bro.
Ben Wallace?
Over CP3. Come on, cuz.
Bro, CP3 is cool. He's got a lot. Bro, he's cool. He's got a lot of stats. He's played for a minute, but he chokes in clutch games and doesn't have any rings. And with that Clippers team, they should have won a championship and they didn't.
And that's
Yeah,
not his
if he
fault.
stays healthy, they do.
Like
I mean,
he was hurt.
I get it. I get it. You can say it's not his fault. I'm just saying, Chris Paul is very injury prone and not clutch in clutch games.
And I'm pretty sure Billups was pretty much out of the league like 4 years after he won a championship. Like I don't think he was relevant anymore.
About that one, but
I mean, I watched the Pistons very, very intently those years, and he was great. But I mean, once they
all the Nuggets too.
Yeah, but come on, bro, that was Melo's team. Come on, fam.
I mean, they had Melo, and I mean, I feel it.
You can't put him on here if he's not even the best player on his team.
I mean, he's pretty good. He's definitely a great defender. Great.
Melo made the Nuggets, bro. Melo was
him
the
and
Nuggets.
AI.
He did. But we're talking. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
he's got a ring.
Good.
Chris Paul doesn't.
Yeah, Chris Paul's got a lot more wins too, man. Sometimes the ball just rolls.
But he doesn't got a championship. That's what we play for, right? We play for championships. We're not playing for personal accolades.
That Pistons squad though was much better than anything Chris Paul ever had.
Right.
Big Ben, Tayshaun, Richard Hamilton, Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, bro.
All right.
And those guys in their primes.
All right.
All right, we'll move on.
All right. That's crazy.
Devo's. All right, this team, I put 2020s.
Outrageous.
I put 2020s, but it's kind of like the 2010s guys that didn't get put on the last team and 2020s to make it a better squad. Who of the up-and-comers, new guys that I not put on this list that should have been on there? Do you think this chemistry would work? What do you guys think about this 2020 new era squad?
So my only thing I would change, and I have to say this because I got to stick up for more, Joel Embiid over Nikola Jokic all day, every day. I do love some Jokic. I think he's great. Joel Embiid stays healthy. He's putting 60 on Jokic's head, dude. Jokic is a great passer, but Joel Embiid can carry a franchise on his back. Jokic has proved many, many times that he cannot get that team to a conference final. He can't do it. He doesn't have the power. He's a big man, so he can't guard as well as most people can. And Joel Embiid's one of the best defenders in the country as well. The only person I would put over anybody is Joel Embiid on this list. I think James Harden, obviously that season he had with the Rockets solidified him to be a starter. Kawhi Leonard, he literally changed the NBA with one trade. No one else was taking the Raptors to a title game. Giannis is obviously, considered one of the best players in the league right now. Steph's got to be there. Steph is Steph. Steph changed the NBA. So my only change is throwing Embiid up there. But other than that, dude, this list is pretty solid to me.
What do you think?
Maybe I'd move Paul George down a little bit. Paul George might be a wee bit high.
Would you put Tatum over George?
Today, probably, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking like longevity of his career. I know we haven't seen much of Tatum yet, but
yeah, I know what you mean.
I just remember George and the LeBron stuff. That was fun to watch too.
He was the only one challenging that man in that conference.
It's kind of hard to put Paul George. It's hard to put Paul George on this list. I feel like Paul George is more of a 2010s guy.
Yeah, well, so I mean, you could say Kawhi is too, but because of the season with the Spurs with Tim Duncan and them guys, but I'm not.
I guess this era means more so to like the guys that are playing right now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I just wanted this team to have some depth on it. So that's why I threw some of the older guys in there.
Throwing John Morant up there already, huh?
Who's my thing? That's the one. Who would you put instead of him? I'm not putting Trae Young. I think Trae Young.
Ew, absolutely not.
Never.
If Trae Young was on this list, I would not be here.
The one guy that I want on the list that I was debating, but I think Jaw's been playing better. I wanted Devin Booker in this list so bad.
Yeah.
But who would you guys rather have other than Jaw? Who would you rather have?
I'd say D-Book, just because he's been further in the playoffs, but he's also had a better team. So it's like, you can go either or. He's had crazy good scoring outputs, but he's also got embarrassed. So
what's fun about this team is there's so much this is being played out right now. We have no idea who athletes up and coming.
Maybe Dame Lillard.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I really thought about too. Is Ja or Dame were the two. That's the one I tried to think about.
Or maybe putting Dame over Paul George. Because Paul George right now has been kind of decreasing a little bit.
Who would you put for a second forward? No, we have Tatum. That makes sense. Okay. Devo, what do you got?
I'd honestly put Dame over Harden. But as of recently, I'd put Dame over Harden.
Yeah, I feel that one. Bro, where's Ben Simmons at, dude? Come on.
Yeah, right.
Where's Kawhi? Where's Kyrie, bro? Where's Kyrie?
Yeah, Kyrie.
He's got it in him, bro.
I can't put Kyrie not on a team with LeBron, though. I can't do it.
I know. I agree.
All right, now let's get into the fun part of it. Now we saw the list. We have a double elimination 4-team bracket. I had it pulled up in the thing, but it didn't show up. It didn't go through. So we have the Dream Team squad taking on the New Era squad. So the 70s, 80s, and 90s team versus the New Era squad with Curry, Harden, and them. And then we have let's go with that matchup. Who do you like? Who do you think will win that game? I think it's a blowout, but what do you guys think?
Nevo, what you got?
What was the matchups? I was trying to look at the list. What was the matchup again?
I'll pull it back up here.
Did you say 80s against modern?
Yeah, the modern versus the 80s, 90s team. Why did it not pop up?
You're talking 2020s?
Yeah, the 20. So this squad right here versus the Dream Team era. How bad? I think it's a blowout, but how big of a blowout do you think? I think the Dream Team kills them.
I don't know, man.
I think the Dream Team, when you got Magic, Michael, and Bird, and then Kareem at the center, I think Kareem kills both centers.
I think I see Karl Malone.
Karl Malone that's nasty.
I think if you put Embiid in
Kareem's fire, but Giannis could match up Kareem.
Yeah, Giannis and Joel Embiid going up against Kareem and Karl. I think you've got.
Hold up. Go to the next team. I just thought about something. I want to. Okay, never mind. We're good.
What was he gonna say?
I honestly did not see Shaq on that list, and I was like,
"Oh, duh."
Yeah, no, he's there.
How could I forget Shaq? But no, that's the next matchup. But who do you think would be like the standout? I mean, obviously you got Michael and Magic and them, but who do you think anybody on this list could keep it close and make it a good game? And we're playing where you can foul and people on the we're playing real basketball, not 2020 crap.
Whoa, wait, hold up. You don't have Akeem Olajuwon?
Yeah, he's right here, bro.
He's on the bench.
He's the backup center. You could even I would probably even put Hakeem as the starting power forward and put both Malone and Barkley on the bench.
Shaq's only really giving credit to like two people saying that could dominate him, and that was Hakeem and Giannis. He said Hakeem and Giannis are the only two people that could probably give him a run for his money.
That'd be a fun matchup to watch. That's why I wanted these two to play each other. I think it'd be fun to watch.
Who's taller,
Dream? I think the Dream Team has too many killers.
Who's taller, Kareem or Hakeem?
I have no idea.
Kareem's
taller. It got to be.
Kareem is 7'1", I think.
Hakeem was pretty big because Hakeem Olajuwon, when he was in college, they made up that rule he couldn't dunk, right? That was him. I'm pretty sure that was him.
There's a rule he couldn't dunk? I didn't know.
Yeah, because he was so dominant.
I don't think that was true.
No, I'm serious. I promise you that was. I promise you it was.
I thought that was Patrick Ewing at Georgetown.
Maybe that's who it was. Maybe it was Patrick Ewing. I'm gonna look it up.
But anyway, who do you guys got moving on in this game? What do you guys think would happen? Let's get to the next one. We got football to talk about.
I've got to go with the new school, man.
Really?
Yeah, I really do think that they when they're
They
clicking.
ain't beating Mike like that though.
I'm telling you, the difference is going to be in the post, man. I think Joel Embiid and Giannis are absolutely having their way with them too.
Even if you throw Hakeem down there at the power forward, you think so, huh?
Yeah. I don't know why. I just feel like, what's up?
It was Kareem. The NCAA banned dunking from 67 to 76 because he was so dominant. That is crazy.
That's unbelievable.
Hey, how do we stop? Just make him so he can't dunk, I guess. Or...
And then he had the hook, dude. It's impossible.
Where
Nebo,
did Kareem
you're
go
the
to
deciding
college?
factor on this tournament. Who moves on? Who goes losers bracket between the Dream Team and the New School? Who you got moving on? I took the Dream Team. He took the New School.
I got New School.
New School? I thought it wasn't even going to be close. This is my number one seed.
It will get that. The New School will just Space Mountain splash in their face all day.
Yeah.
Even in like the old school era where you can throw people, you can knock people out, Curry would get knocked on his butt.
Who?
Curry would get thrown around, but
he would, but he's also going to pull from half court.
Go back to that New School roster.
I just don't see Harden and Curry being able to get any defense. I don't see either one of them being able to stop. Neither one of them can stop Magic.
There's some dudes in here that would clamp some of those old school dudes.
Kawhi Leonard on Michael Jordan would be fun to watch.
Yeah, I know. That's why I put that one in there. There's a couple of matchups, but I don't see anybody in this list other than maybe like I don't know who's stopping Magic. That's my only question.
I agree with Brad that Jokic should not be stopped. I would put Embiid over Jokic, and Embiid and Giannis versus Hakeem and Kareem would be an absolute clash of the Titans to watch. But think of how much speed, bro. They would not; those big dudes would not be able to keep pace with Giannis on fast break. They would get killed every time down the court. And you're gonna have Michael Jordan or Larry Bird in the paint. Giannis is gonna Euro step right around.
But who's guarding Magic? He's a 6'9".
Yeah, no, I agree. That's the big. To me, that's the biggest matchup or the biggest mismatch is Magic Johnson on Steph.
Who guards Magic?
You could switch pretty much like. A lot of these dudes are two-way dudes. Paul George, clamp, lockdown dude on defense.
I was actually going to say you could probably put Giannis on Magic.
That too.
But then who's guarding Hakeem down low?
Well, I think Kawhi.
It depends on how you roll the lineup. I wouldn't line it up.
I think if you put Hakeem and Kareem in there to start because you have to deal with Giannis. Who's going to guard Magic when you have the two other big guys and then him dishing it to him? That would be so fun to watch.
Anthony Davis.
Embiid. I think Embiid's a good defender too.
Are you benching Jokic to put Davis in?
Yeah, I'm benching Jokic 100%.
Yeah, I'm not putting Jokic in the starting five.
I know, but what I'm saying is who's going to match up with people then? Because if you keep the three guys we have, take Harden out, you can put Paul George, that's fine. But if you got Hakeem and Kareem down low, and then who was left to guard Magic and Mike and then you got Bird hitting threes outside. Who matches up with those four guys? I don't know who does. It's tough.
I think Kawhi's on Jordan.
I agree with that one.
You got to put. I'm telling you, got to start Joel Embiid and have him guard Hakeem Olajuwon down low, and then maybe even Giannis. You can put Giannis could have also guarded Michael, but Giannis can guard Magic Johnson. You put in. Ooh, man.
It's tough, though, because there's so many weapons. There's so many ways to play it.
I just think
this matchup would be so much fun to watch. So much fun.
I think today's big men are more athletic and they're two-way players. I think back then, it was different. A little bit different.
They would literally just let Kareem and Hakeem they would just let them shoot wide open threes and just let them break all day. That's literally what they would do. They could double pretty much anyone else because they can leave shooters open. You can especially when you have Giannis, who's the best defender and help defender in the NBA. Buddy could literally play 10 feet off of Kareem because he's not shooting the ball from three, and he's gonna slide in. Trust me, they're way more athletic. They can slide around a lot more.
Yeah.
So you guys honestly think it would? You think they would beat them handily?
Yes,
I do. I know it's gonna sound crazy.
On the fast break, those big dudes aren't stopping. Those big dudes are not stopping.
But what do you think the old guys are going to do? Magic Johnson was was better than Giannis on the fast break.
I think on this team, if you took Michael Jordan off, they don't have a legitimate go out there and kill you scorer.
I agree.
And I think Steph Curry can do that.
Michael is that guy though.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's Mike.
Fired, but if you lock him down, he's not doing anything. That team's really not doing anything, bro. Like what is?
I'm telling you, man, upset of all time, right there.
What are Hakeem and Kareem gonna do? They're gonna let 7-2 Joel Embiid just splash threes from the 3-point line, or what? When Giannis is just isoing dudes and taking them to the rack.
If Joel Embiid shooting threes in this game, they're gonna get blown out.
Yeah, Joel Embiid's not shooting a single. Joel Embiid's taking his body, going straight into Karl Malone and dunking on his head.
He is.
That's your secret game plan to beating this team is Joel Embiid shooting threes.
I get that. You didn't just listen to what I said. Embiid can go inside all day, but they're not going to run the same play the entire game. When they switch up their offense and they start letting dudes ISO, like Giannis ISO, one of their big dudes, and Embiid's just sitting at the 3-point line splashing, Embiid can shoot. That dude is a lethal 3-point shooter when he's wide open. That dude can shoot. Like, he's not a traditional old school big man. He can score from anywhere.
But
I think.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, man. I think today's era is winning, and I can't believe I'm saying that. But
I think can actually really have a game against this team is Giannis. There's nobody else that can have a game. I don't think on that team that can have a legitimate
Steph Curry would splash those.
Yeah,
dudes.
Steph Curry's
Magic Johnson would be getting triple screened. His big 6'9" trying to get through.
If Magic's guarding him, he's gonna have to shoot it from the logo every time.
No, he's not. Do you watch the Warriors play? Steph is an off-ball player. He doesn't he brings the ball up, but a lot of the time he gets rid of the ball and he's running through.
Well, yeah, I know he runs around. I watched him at Davidson. I know what he's capable of, but I don't think you don't think the best defensive era of all time
Magic
is not going to pick him up.
Magic is 6'9". He is not keeping up with Steph Curry, especially when he's getting screened through 4 players and Steph is catching, shooting wide open shots.
I'll even say this. I think Steph's 3-point, because they're gonna have to come up and guard him. Imagine the pick and rolls they can set up with him and Giannis.
And then when Clay steps in off the rotation and Clay gives you another 30 from 3. Yeah,
because Steph going to the basket's also really crafty. I mean, he finishes.
Hey,
I think off ball. I don't know, man. I don't know.
What's worth more points?
Hey, this is a good argument. I like this.
What's worth more points, 3 or 2?
Well, when you got Embiid shooting them, 0. So.
Hey, man, Embiid can
you watch modern basketball, Blue Orange?
Yes, I watch modern basketball. But what I'm saying is, there's
he's
no way that Embiid is any kind of factor in this game with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar playing defense.
He is one of the best shooting big men of all time. They're not running man.
Big men.
That old school team is not going to be able to run man defense. They will get smoked. If they run man defense on them, they will get ran. Those big dudes will get blown by every time. Giannis is so much faster than both of those dudes. They will get tossed.
Giannis will have to score 80 points to win the game. There's no way.
Have to play zone, and when they play zone, they're going to get splashed from every angle. They will get torched. Michael Jordan's going to get clamped, and ain't nobody scoring.
Okay, Giannis is going to get his. I agree with that. But everyone else on that team can lock up Magic, Michael, Hakeem, and Kareem, and then Bird shooting threes.
They can. They really can.
You can't guard that.
Who can't guard him? Who can't guard him?
Who can't? Okay, if you take Giannis, and Embiid,
Steph.
If you take who's Steph going to guard?
No, that's what I just said. I just said Steph couldn't guard Magic.
No, hold on. Here's my only argument to this. If you have to have Giannis and Embiid guard Hakeem and Kareem. You have to.
Okay, yeah.
Down low. Yeah. Then who guards Magic at the one? Who guards Magic at the one?
Paul George on Jordan.
Okay, that's fine. You put
Kawhi Leonard on Magic.
Paul George on Michael Jordan.
Yeah, yes, Paul George is getting taken.
Yeah, if you're talking about the size mismatch, yeah.
Then
yes, if you're talking about the size mismatch, I'm putting Paul George on Jordan, and I'm putting Kawhi on Magic. If that's how you want to go, then yeah, that's how I'm going.
Well, then who's going to guard Bird? Who's your fifth guy?
Anybody. Bird's a good off-balance shooter, but he's not crazy athletic like that. Any of those dudes can stay in front of him.
multiple-time champion MVP, the guy would play perfectly off of Magic Johnson. He'd give him the ball in space constantly.
Blue, I get it. You think these old dudes will do it, but I don't know, bro.
Yeah, they're not good. No, Larry Bird's trash, bro, right? Get the heck out of here, bro. Joel Embiid is not a factor in this game with Hakeem and Kareem. Not even close.
Joel Embiid is going. Joel Embiid's getting 40. Joel Embiid's getting 40.
On who?
40. On Hakeem and Kareem? Y'all are
you don't watch modern day basketball, so I don't know how you're arguing this.
There's no way you could put anybody in these
You don't even watch modern day basketball. How can you say that?
I think Joel Embiid actually probably fits more of the old school basketball fit than anybody else on this team. Because he's rugged, he's nasty, and he averaged. I'm pretty sure last year he averaged until like the second month of the season. He averaged like 38 to 40 points a game. He was ridiculous. I mean, I think he could go in and hang because he's so much stronger and he stretches the floor. That's why I think it would be hard to guard. Because he doesn't shoot as many threes. His shot is that mid range right there, like where he gets it a little step back, that's his shot. I just think grit wise, strength wise, I think he's hanging with those guys. I actually think he would probably destroy Hakeem Olajuwon defensively. I think Hakeem Olajuwon couldn't guard him. Now, Hakeem Olajuwon in the paint, I think, is going to go at Joel Embiid. But I think just on defense, both of them couldn't guard each other. So who's going to get the more points? I'm going to choose the guy that can shoot from three. That's all I'm going with.
That works. All right, let's get to the next one. This one's like a little easier. Here we go. How do I pull it back up here? All right, we'll go the Redeem team and the old school guys for the second bracket. You guys know who's on the team. You guys go ahead. I'm going to pull it up while we're talking here. Go ahead, guys.
Ooh.
I'm picking Redeem team. It's not close.
Yeah, I think Redeem team's giving them the work.
Because the only guys can't shoot. Only Jerry West can shoot.
Yeah, I was really going to say that. Just shooting-wise, they're going to get shot out of the gym.
I don't think anybody in that starting five could guard anybody from that Redeem team era. I'm pretty sure they'd all have a solid 40.
If Dr. J could shoot, he'd be one of the best of all time, I do think, though.
Yeah.
Granted,
Dr. J has the body type too to hang with the new school guys.
I can't tell if my laptop's charging, but if my laptop dies, I'll rejoin to my phone.
You're good. That was like my 1 and 4 seed. I was shocked. I thought it was going to be Dream Team versus Redeem Team for sure. I'm actually shocked. All right, Dream Team versus the old school for third place. Who we got?
Oh, I gotta go Dream Team, man.
Yeah,
they're giving it to them. I mean, I think they're the better version of the old school. They're the Hall of Fame version of old school.
Right.
So,
all right, let's get to the championship game. Let me pull it up here. The championship game.
This is going to be the hardest one, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree.
Here we go.
Blue Dorn really. Hey, I don't know if you know this, Brad, but Blue Dorn hates modern day basketball and is the
worst
biggest
thing ever to watch
90s bike rider I've ever seen in my life.
I kind of hate the new era of basketball too.
I just wish they could foul for real, and you can't.
I agree.
You go up and shoot, and someone puts their foot by yours when you come down. It's a flagrant foul. That's the biggest bullshit I've ever fucking seen in my life. Sorry.
Yeah.
Pardon my
no,
friend.
I think
I just can't stand it.
I think they've taken away.
Sorry, guys,
like you can't. You know how hard it is to be a good defender now. Like you can't. It's like it's just ridiculous. They've given NFL and NBA both offensive game. They've taken away the magic of a good defensive player. I think that's why I don't like modern day basketball.
All right, so who's playing in the championship game? I know we got this team and the new school. All right, here we go.
Ooh.
You always say you wish they could foul, though. Bro, if you put LeBron and Giannis in that era, they're going to shoulder check some dude.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I want to watch that. I want to watch Shaq throw the mess out of Kareem. I would love to watch it.
Michael Jordan is like 6'6", like 230, 240. LeBron's coming in at 6'8", 6'9", 250, about to just shoulder check him into the stands.
Here's my thing, though. Even LeBron era, like 2012, 2010, they're playing real basketball even then.
Yeah.
That's not even the same as what it is now. It was different then. Tim Duncan games were totally different than the ones now.
What year did Steph get drafted?
He was 2008, I think. 2009.
I think it was the 2009 draft. That's the 2008 season. Because I'll never forget that draft because of one reason you guys both know why.
Donnie Flynn, baby.
Dude, I don't know. The way this is split up, bro, I just don't know if this is split up right. Like,
I'm actually
I
gonna
guess it's
go.
'cause- I get it.
I'm actually gonna go redeem team on here.
I have to.
I'm
Shaq
gonna
is
go
so
redeem team.
dominant, man.
What year was the Michael Jordan era? Is that just the 90s?
Yeah, I mean he played up
He
until
was the all-decade
2005.
team for
I think.
80s and 90s.
No, but I'm saying no. Go click left. Go left one. That's 8. Okay, got you. I was making sure.
Yeah.
I was making sure each one has like 20.
If it was the
years.
90s, Magic couldn't be on here. He could, but for 2 years.
Yeah, I've gotta take redeem on this one.
I think this one's easier than the other one.
Because AI is gonna get buckets. Kobe Bryant could shoot when he needed him to. LeBron could shoot when he needed to. Tim Duncan is the greatest power forward of all time, and Shaq is considered the best center of all time. I think you've got to go here.
And I think if you were to say they're not spreading the floor enough, it's becoming too isolated. You put in Chris Paul to be the point guard, and he'll spread the ball out.
And all of these guys right here were considered great defenders in their time, if not the best defenders of their time, except for maybe Tim Duncan sometimes. But Kobe Bryant was a lot. Kobe Bryant's killing James Harden without a doubt.
I think Harden gets pulled in this game, and I think they put somebody on their bench because I think they got to put like a George or somebody to try to guard him because Kobe would tear up this team.
I still think Damian Lillard should be on this list over Harden. Dame Lillard's not on any of these lists, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, but it's just because of success-wise, he hasn't had much. I mean,
the only one I would throw in, the only team I could throw him on is this one right here. I don't think he belongs on this one because he didn't play as much in that era as this team right here.
No, I get that, but then he's had about the same amount of success as James Harden has had. Is the only thing I would argue.
Harden's just known as an incredible shooter.
James Harden is an incredible
50
scorer,
a game,
but
40 a game for a while.
He half-asses it so much on defense. It irritates me.
I agree, but you can't. I mean, James Harden literally averaged the highest points per game, like second ever, only to literally Wilt Chamberlain.
True, but when you're taking like 80 shots a game.
And his numbers were inflated because of free throws and stuff, but it still was there. I mean,
true.
Debo, to you. Oh, go ahead.
Like, they give Russell Westbrook, like, the triple-double champion, bro. His teammates were tipping rebounds to him, bro. Like, his center literally is purposely avoiding rebounds to, like, pad his stats. I feel like there's just some guys have padded stats, but I don't know.
And we can say all that we want about, Damian Lillard, but he hasn't been to a conference finals yet, and he has to get there before you can put him on this list. And James Harden's been to a finals. I mean, he obviously that wasn't his team, but he's been to one, and he's literally been a couple injuries away from probably going back. But Harden's a dog.
Defensively, I'm almost putting Klay Thompson in over him to play on defensive series for sure.
I give Dame that respect because he hasn't. I give Harden his respect too. I love Harden, but I just give Dame that respect just because Dame hasn't left yet. Like Dame,
I agree.
To the Lakers or something and like got a super team, but he's a rock in the old school way, I guess.
Yeah. And Dame's been that guy on his team too. Like he's literally been the one guy that you have to key on, and he's still getting. Sometimes he'll put 50 up in a playoff game.
No,
and he's also he's short as well. He's a short-statured NBA player.
True.
So it's impressive. But I'm going to take the redeem team on this one.
I
got to go.
All right, real quick. I thought for sure we were going to have redeem versus dream. That's what I wanted to have happen, but you guys thought otherwise. So real quick. So we got the redeem team wins it. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Real quick, before we move on, I know we're getting into a long show here, but between these two teams, who you got winning? I just want to hear what you guys would say between the Dream Team and Redeem Team era. I thought that was going to be the case. I thought it was going to be those two. We have a fun debate between that, but you guys thought differently. So what do you guys think?
Redeem Team.
Really?
Blue Orange with the old people. Blue Orange with all the old people.
I respect the
90s basketball was the best.
I respect the Magic
Johnson. No, this one I think differently on because this era was a lot similar to this one.
Yes,
that's why I think Redeem Team's going to win. Look at that starting five and D Wade and KG coming off and Durant. Yeah. This team's loaded with talent. I think this team gives them a better shot because I got Tim Duncan, who can slow down the two bigs that we talked about.
Yeah.
Who's also a center, and then you have the most dominant big man of all time. I think this Redeem Team era is almost perfect. I think they're almost a perfect squad. I think
Plus,
they win. But
Melo's in here, right?
Yeah,
If
Melo's in.
here.
Yeah, Melo's in.
Melo. Melo's one of the best ISO. He's so selfish, but he's one of the best ISO players of all time.
He got the bag though. He didn't win anything, but he got the bag.
No, that's true.
But no, I think for sure Redeem Team wins because they know how to play big boy basketball.
I agree.
And this roster is every single one except for AI is either 1 or 2 at their position all time.
I completely agree.
Brad, I got a question for you. So hold on, go flip back between this and then the. So, okay, it depends on depending on what lineup they run.
They got to put
I would almost drop, depending on what lineup they run, on who they're starting. How Karl Malone's what, like 6'9", 6'10"?
Yeah, he's 6'9".
I would low key if they run the Karl Malone lineup, if Hakeem's coming off the bench, I would almost drop. It's disrespectful to not Paul George, but Tim Duncan. But if they're running this lineup, I would drop LeBron to the 4, and I would put KD in at the 3, and run that like a small ball lineup kind of.
Well, they can do that with this team. They can run that Redeem team. They can run it so many ways. I mean, it's just a starting squad, but they can mix and match constantly. I mean, that Redeem team, I think, is legitimately almost perfect.
I agree.
What do they lack? They don't lack anything.
Would you put Magic on LeBron on this? I'd put Magic on LeBron.
Yeah, I actually do as well.
And also, if you really want to get technical with the 2010s team and you want to put the best players out there, kick AI to the curb and put Curry at the 1.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
That team would be
Curry.
stupid.
You put Curry on this team, that's a whole different.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if I wanted to do that, but I feel like that might have been too much of a goated conversation, so that's why I kept him off and put him on this squad. I wanted him to be legit
and because Curry didn't come into his own until about 2013, and so technically this is like maybe a little bit.
If you get rid of AI and put Curry, or you put AI on the bench, dude, kick Paul out. This team is banana land. Like,
they don't lose a game. They probably don't lose a single game to anybody. It doesn't matter who.
You might have to take AI. You might have to take AI out against that. I don't think you can have AI in the starting 5 against that team. It'd be hard, especially because like AI. If you have AI and Kobe in there at the same time against that team, I don't know. They're both going to want to score the ball every possession. And AI is tiny, bro. I don't know who you would guard on that. I
didn't expect this conversation to go this long. It was actually kind of a cool conversation. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
As soon as you showed me the list and I figured and Brad was coming on, I figured it was probably going to be this long.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right,
I'll even say this last thing is I guess I didn't give this enough credit. I mean, AI, for what it's worth, he still averaged 6 assists in his career. Like, he still was a fairly good passer. So
I think it'd be a lot easier to pass the ball when your team's actually legitimate.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a terrible team.
The Sixers team was garbage. The Nuggets team was his best team. That one, I think, probably where assists came from. But that Sixers team, man, Mutombo was their next best player. It was horrible.
That Nuggets team, you had AI, J.R. Smith, Marcus Camby. Bro, like.
Kenyon Martin, a good power forward. Kenyon Martin.
You want to hear something crazy?
What's that?
So Allen Iverson, this is his rookie stat line. 23.5 points per game. He averaged 4.5 rebounds a game, 7.6 assists a game, and 2.5 steals a game.
That's crazy.
At 6 foot.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, right.
My goodness.
He's a baller.
That's awesome.
Holy smokes, bro.
All right, let's get into some football. I know we're kind of went off a big rabbit trail, but I wanted to have that conversation on the show because I wanted to hear what you guys thought, because I've always thought that I'm actually genuinely shocked you guys thought the new players were as good as they are, but I don't watch it enough, so I'm probably like completely wrong. But I'm happy to see that happen because I'm glad. I don't know anything about NBA basketball, dude. I'm a 5'9" white guy from South Dakota. I mean, it's a joke. So
There might be a lot of people that disagree with me and Brad on that one. There might be some people that think
Oh yeah, probably.
You bring my dad on the show, he's probably turning his phone off.
I know,
Yeah.
100%. But like, also, I feel like people from the '90s don't like with football. They respect it more. With football, they respect it more. But I feel like people from the '90s think like, yeah, your basketball was super physical, but it was also like dudes were not like
talented,
not assassins with their fundamentals and mechanics. Like nowadays, like guys are like they used to like go out and party like every night and then come into practice and then like Dennis
Think about it.
for
Isaiah Thomas is not
the finals. Like that doesn't happen anymore. Your star player is not going to go on a trip to Vegas during the finals and come back.
And a 5'9" point guard's not averaging 34 points a game. Like Isaiah Thomas, remember that year he had with the Celtics? Like in that era, the guys that were 5'9" just didn't score like that.
Right.
So it's different. But that was a good conversation. That was fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I've wanted to have that for a long time. All right, let's move on to NFL games. Let's switch gears immensely here. Let's start with the first game. Let's recap some of the games. The biggest one for me was the Seahawks showed up this weekend.
I know.
Beating the New York Giants 27-13. What do you think? What's your guys' take on this game? I know the Seahawks, they're winning the division. They're dogs right now.
I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. I'll go first.
I'll get rid of the problem.
I know. I mean, hey, I'm not gonna go there.
I know,
yet, but
I don't like
Russell
Wilson. That's why. But
Geno Smith has literally earned himself like a straight roster spot again. I mean, he's literally played fantastic football this season. And the thing is, it's how he's handled his success that I think will make people like right now, who's the better quarterback, Geno Smith or Jimmy Garoppolo?
Yeah, Geno by far.
Geno Smith. I mean, you got to say that. I mean, and he's also doing more with less. I will say this: the Giants, man, they stunk this one up, man. I totally looked for them to stretch the ball more, like vertically, with Wan'Dale Robinson kind of coming off a big game the week before. They tried to get Saquon going. He just wasn't. 53 yards ain't going to do it, man. They've got to have him at least in the 80-90 range if they're going to win a game, just to keep it balanced. But the Seahawks keep winning. So, I mean, they're just proving that they're a solid football team. I think this is kind of one of those games where you'll look back and it'll mean a lot more when the Seahawks probably hit 10 wins. This game was probably the kind of game that gets them to a 10-win year, I think, personally. But it was awesome.
Isn't that weird to hear them say that them being the Giants is like a big win for them? Isn't that just it doesn't even register in my brain? That's a real thing. Devo, what do you got?
It was an electric game. Like it was exciting to watch. Like
it was.
Giants defense, dude. Richie James Jr. That dude needs to get cut. That dude should not have a roster spot. He cost the Giants the game single-handedly. Single-handedly. How do you fumble 2 punts? And the announcer literally was like, Richie James Jr. fumbled one earlier, and then Buddy just gets blindsided and drops another one. Oh, I feel bad for that dude. He's got to be getting absolutely roasted by Giants.
Yeah.
That's funny. But no, the Giants really did try to get Saquon going any way possible. They really did try to get him. He's been their nucleus, been the guy in their offense.
Are you guys hearing the audio?
Yeah, it's like
I'm hearing you. There's like a weird noise to it.
Yeah, it's kind of like muffled. It's like really, really weird.
I don't know why.
What is that?
Ladies and gentlemen, technical difficulties. We are here to announce the Commanders beat the Colts, guys. It's top 5 team in the NFL.
Bro, yeah, they're not doing so hot right now.
They benched Matt Ryan. They put in Sam Ellinger. He can't get it done.
Did they actually bench Matt Ryan just to bench him, or is he actually like hurt? What is that noise?
Something's going wrong, man.
Hey, Brad, call back in really quick. I think it's on you.
It definitely was, but I don't understand.
Yeah, it was Brad. I knew that.
Bye, Brad.
Yeah, see you, Brad. See you, bud. Let me text him, get him back in here. But the Seahawks Giants, man.
The game was electric.
I'm impressed with the old the Seabirds. All right, let's move on to the next one. What's the next game I got on the list here? Oh, yeah, the 49ers giving it to the Rams. What do you think, Debo? Did you watch any of that one? Christian McCaffrey threw for a touchdown, ran one in, and I think caught one. He did all three.
It was the Christian McCaffrey show, that's for sure. He looks so good. They have so many weapons. They have they can just run I just love it seeing Shanahan have all these weapons and just seeing the wheels turn in his head and him just scheme all this stuff up. It is awesome. Christian McCaffrey looks rejuvenated. He looks happy to be back in NorCal. And I think for the most part, Jimmy G just needs to game manage. He needs to do what he needs to pull a Kirk Cousins. Just make the throws you need to make. Don't try and do anything too crazy. Let your playmakers make plays, and I think they'll be solid.
Yeah, all they got to do is keep adding playmakers. There's some talks right now that one of the major players in the Odell conversation is the 49ers. If they got him too, yikes. Yikes.
That'd be scary. That'd be so scary. Who would you rather see him on, Niners or Bills?
Bills, because I think it'd be fun to watch. I think they'd have more of a lively team, but I don't see him not leaving Cali, though.
I feel that.
But the Rams, man, they've maybe looked like themselves maybe one or two games this year. Other than that, they have not looked like themselves at all.
Dude, yeah, they look horrible.
They always beat the Cardinals bad. Other than that, man, I don't know.
Bro, I'm telling you, Cooper Kupp is fire, but unless he has another dude to open stuff up for him, he's not getting open like that.
I will say, Allen Robinson had one of his best games of the year, but still, he got more targets this game finally. But they still ain't cutting it though.
I think people are really just starting to see how much attention Odell draws when he's on that field.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp was balling before Odell got there, so don't get me wrong. They had Robert Woods on the other side, but I don't know. I just feel like now that teams know what their scheme is and they're really watching Cooper Kupp, you're seeing that team struggle, especially when they literally try and force the Cooper Kupp every week.
Yeah.
And they need another dominant receiver that can open stuff up for him. You can't rely on him just playing outside every time. You got to be able to put him in the slot. You got to be able to line him up at different spots. Yeah,
no, absolutely. Yeah, I think that he should not go back to the Rams. That would be a terrible situation for him. I don't think he fixes their problems. I really don't think so. I think he'd help immensely, but I think he needs a team that he doesn't have to be the saving factor on to because he's coming back from 2 knee injuries. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think the 49ers would be a great fit for him. Debo, I don't think Debo even played in the game, did he? I don't think he played.
I think I swear I saw him in there. I just don't think he did much. Pretty sure they just kind of maybe he didn't, but I thought he did.
I don't know. I have to go back and watch it. But the next game, what happened to the Las Vegas Raiders, man? This capped off what's been a horrible season for them. The New Orleans Saints beat them 24-0. It was the Alvin Kamara show. What do you think about this one, D?
At the beginning of the year, everyone was talking about the AFC West being loaded with quarterbacks. And I feel like that just everyone was it was as soon as Russell Wilson went to the Broncos, it was all the AFC West is loaded with quarterbacks. You got Herbert, Herbert, right? AFC
what?
West?
Chargers.
AFC West, yeah. They're like, oh, you got Herbert, you got Mahomes, you got Wilson, and you got Carr. I don't think Carr is an elite quarterback like that. I think Carr is cool, but he puts them out of a lot of games too. He can put you in games, but he also puts you out of games.
Yeah, I agree.
And the fact that Saints roster showed up like that and really just put it on them, that says something. Something is not going right in that Raiders locker room, whether it's the coaches and players not getting along, whether it's, I don't know, but I feel like Devontae Adams might not be there for long.
I know, man, and it sucks too. I mean, that doesn't suck for me being a Vikings fan, but both parties have significantly gotten worse because of it. Both the Raiders and the Packers are not showing up, not playing well. I think.
Yeah.
Do you think it's Josh McDaniels as a head coach? This is two places in a row where he's struggled, man.
I mean, the Raiders struggled last. I mean, Raiders made playoffs last year, I guess, but like, I don't know. It's who knows. I feel like they had problems with Gruden too. Like, I don't know if it's a coach thing. I think it's just. I just don't think Derek Carr is the guy for that team. I don't think he's gonna get you. I don't think he's gonna do what you want. Like, he has Devontae Adams. We've seen what Aaron Rodgers can do with Devontae Adams. There's no reason if he's an elite quarterback why he can't do that. Especially when you have Darren Waller out there, you have Josh Jacobs at running back. Like, you have all these weapons around you, and you can't make it happen. It's kind of wild.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm trying to get Brad back on, but I just called him. He didn't answer. He hasn't responded to a text. But if he joins back in, great. If not, we'll dive back in. But yeah, no, I don't know, man. I feel for him because Josh McDaniels, I think, he's a great play caller. But the Saints defense has not been that great this year. I mean, they've given up a lot of points this year. But man, they showed up this weekend. So I don't know if it's more of a Raiders problem or the Saints defense figuring it out. But 0 points on a team that's given up almost 30 to the Vikes. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But Alvin Kamara, that boy, he's always good for a couple of games where he has an insane game every year. And this is that one of those for him this week.
He's my favorite running back in the league.
There's talks about him leaving New Orleans too.
I hope he does. Him and Zeke are my two favorite running backs in the league. Alvin Kamara is like that. Alvin Kamara, he can, like, bro, he's like that. And like, his game, like, the last couple of years, he hasn't had as many games consistently being breakout games. They also don't have Drew Brees anymore. When Drew Brees was there, his usage was up so much more. But it's like, now they don't get to use him near as much. They don't get it. He's not as versatile anymore. He can't be. But if he can leave and he can go to like dude, you can get him on like the Rams or like not even the what if he went to the Bills?
That's the one team. If the Bills got Kamara, yikes.
Yo, that'd be scary, dog.
Yikes.
They put him out a receiver. Like, if they run empty, you basically got an extra receiver out there.
Yeah.
That's
the one thing. Him or the Bills would be so nasty.
I can see there. Who else is balling right now? I can see Chief. Oh.
Yeah.
Him and Kelsey and Mahomes, they'd be doing some like spin, like read options, spin around, throw the ball.
If they could pay for him too, this cap thing makes no sense.
Well, I mean, Mahomes got a baseball contract.
He just got Tony or whatever.
12 years or something like that.
Yeah, I know, but it's just crazy, bro. Wild.
Cap space doesn't exist.
Yeah, I know, right? Cash over cap.
Yeah, for real.
All right. Let's talk about the Vikes and the Cardinals. Papa Peter was at the game. He said it was electric. Actually, it was a kind of a better football game than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, the Vikes took care of business. Did you watch any of the game, or what games did you focus on this week?
What game did I watch? I watched the who's the prime?
I watched primarily the Vikings game.
I watched the Packers game. I watched the Packers game.
The Bills game at night. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna watch the game tonight, but the Packers game I watched all the way through. What other games did I watch? I watched the Giants Seahawks game. I watched the Niners game a little bit. I checked in a lot of games. But what did you ask me? Sorry, I kind of went a little.
I was just saying if you watched any of the Vikings game or what games you watched.
I did watch the Vikings game.
I don't know. I just can't figure out. I mean, the Cardinals played a decent game, but they were playing from behind the whole game. I know the Vikings are 6-1, but man, it sucks seeing the Cardinals just not being able to put it together. They're 2-5 now.
Well, Kyler's like out there freelancing sometimes. He kind of just needs to stick to the play and maybe not always freelance.
He's been yelling all of his guys too. He's kind of like super frustrated.
He's got little man syndrome.
Yeah. I like Kyler too.
I do too, but he definitely has little man syndrome. Even bro, I watch his like Twitch streams and stuff, and even when he's playing video games, bro, when he loses, bro, oh he spazzes out. Like he
Really?
definitely he's a little rager, dude. Like he's definitely one of those dudes that throws controllers and shit.
That's wild.
But
Go ahead.
Lunar, I know you don't want to hear this, but I got some stuff to say about the Vikings.
No boy.
Let me just go ahead and let's just start off with the NFC North. Pretty much everybody right now in that division is ass, except for the Vikings.
I agree.
So I think that
It's beautiful.
I think that their record is very inflated right now. 6-1, yeah. Congratulations. We're in the NFC North, who sucks balls this year. We got to beat the Bears and the Lions, bro.
You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong.
Packers, we beat them week 1. Depending on how this trade deadline goes, they might floor us later in the year.
Yeah. No, I think the second game in Lambeau is going to be a much, much closer game.
But the Vikings fans are getting real hype.
I'm not. I am not one of them. I know better. I know better.
Well, I get it. Like the regular season, they'll be fine. But I just hate when Vikings fans get hype. They always, it's like Vikings fans don't understand. Like, bro, like this is regular season. When the playoffs come, that's a different game.
It's not even halfway done.
Different game.
Oh, it is halfway now, yeah. But it's like half. We're only halfway through the season right now. Yeah. Or not even halfway through. I'm dumb.
But dude, I have the most confidence in that roster. But I do not have confidence in Kirk. Kirk Cousins will. Kirk Cousins, I promise you, I swear to God, when the Vikings lose, and if they lose, it will be because of Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
It will not be because of anybody. It will be, bro, you have an absolute weapon of an offense. Your defense is playing out of their mind. This is the year they got to do it. Because if they don't, that defense is going to be gone pretty soon. Kendricks is getting old. Harrison's getting old. Like, you can't just keep doing the same thing. Like, you got to make something happen.
Yeah, Daniil probably won't be there much longer.
True.
Right. I know. But it sucks because they are the most – this is the most Vikings thing ever, but it's so annoying that, like, we're a team. We have, like, the guys this year. We have a squad. Our secondary's gotten better from last year. Last year, secondary was our biggest problem. Other than Smith, we had nothing left. Now, Dantzler looks really, really good. And Patrick Peterson has been a great pickup for the Vikings. Great pickup. Yeah, he's older, but he has been playing out of his mind. I like him. I'm gonna keep believing, but man, I know better. I know better. Something's gonna happen. They're gonna have that game where they're just not gonna put it together. I know it's gonna happen. It always does.
Bro, like I'm scared to see the Vikings. Like I want to see the Vikings play like the Bills. Or the Chiefs.
The Chiefs, they're going to get blown out.
If they can rock with the Bills, then that says something.
Yeah.
But it's also still regular season. When it's like teams are running a lot of simple stuff, simple schemes, you don't really see this super elaborate stuff until playoffs. That's when you see teams start pulling stuff out their back pocket. And you got Chiefs running jet chip wasp in the Super Bowl to get a clutch 3rd and long.
Well, in 2 weeks, the Vikings go to Buffalo. We'll know then. November 13th. It might get ugly.
It might be a good game, but bro, it's because that roster's so low. It's Kirk Cousins, bro.
I know.
God, me and my mom argue about this every time. Every time I see my mom, Kirk had such a good game. I'm like, Kirk is ass, and she's like, every analyst on TV says Kirk Cousins is good. Yeah, because that's their job, to hype up NFL quarterbacks and support the NFL product. They don't talk about when dude is up by a touchdown on 1st and 10 and throws it into triple coverage for an interception against the Bears, and they almost lose. But it's just facts, bro. Like, it is what it is. Like, he does horrible stuff in clutch moments.
Yeah, right. All right, let's get to, one more game. NFL-wise, let's talk about the Patriots knocking off the Jets, 22-17. Patriots kind of bounced back. The Jets, it was a good game all the way through, but, hey, the Patriots got it done. What do you think of the Patriots team? And are the Jets still a legit team?
Patriots, it's just I think this is one of those years they're just going to be an average team. they're obviously a well-coached team. You got Belichick. He's always going to be prepared. He's always going to have stuff ready. I don't know if necessarily the Patriots played that good. I think Zach Wilson just played that bad. Like, you can't throw 3 interceptions, especially bad ones. I don't know if you watched the game at all, but he was throwing horrible interceptions. There was one. He's rolling out to his right. And, yeah, I get it. It'd be a loss of down. It'd be a turnover. But instead of just throwing it out of bounds and, like, taking the loss of down, like, Buddy's getting pressured by the defender, tries to step back and lob it over him. Underthrows it by, like, 10 yards. The Patriots DB just comes under and scoops it. Like, and then he just stands there and shakes his head like, oh, I don't know how that happened. Like, bro, like, you got to have awareness. You can't, like, it's not always, you don't always got to make a play. Sometimes it's about just taking the smart decision and going on to living for the next down.
Yeah, no doubt. I think the Jets are still a better football team than the Patriots, but the Patriots have their number, and they do have Bill Belichick as their head coach. I don't think either one of them will do anything. This NFL season, though, dude, I can't. Like, this is so nuts. It's so ridiculous. Like, I can't. The Carolina Panthers still gave the Falcons a heck of a game, even though an overtime game, even though the Falcons are a much better team and the Panthers are falling apart. This season makes absolutely zero sense. That's my take on it. But if I had to pick a team to ride with out of those two, I'm taking the Jets over the Patriots any day.
I respect it.
And that's my take going into the NFL. So let's dive into college football. A couple of the games, then we'll talk about the ones.
Did we talk about the Eagles game?
What?
Did we not talk? Or we didn't talk about the Eagles game, did we?
No, go ahead. If you have something to say about it, go ahead.
I just want to touch on it quick. Eagles had a good game, but I'm really interested to see. I want to see them take a loss and see how they respond to that.
Yeah, I know. Who's gonna give it to them? It's like, it's crazy.
True. This team does give me 2015 Eagles vibes, though.
Yeah.
So
Jalen Hurts looks like the most improved player in the league, man. He looks so good.
I haven't he's balling, but I haven't seen anybody actually break down his all 22 footage and see if he's actually making right reads or if he's just out there making just stuff happen.
Yeah, I mean, they do have weapons. They do. I mean, but I don't know. The fact that they have enough tape on him with being all last year and this year, and the fact that he's still doing it, I mean, that's something to say for sure.
Did you see the video I sent you about the Eagles celebration?
Oh, the
Stomp the Yard.
Yes, that was the best one.
Or chop extra crazy.
Yeah. Look, go ahead.
That was fire, bro.
I know. I almost tweeted. I almost put that on my story saying best celebration of all time. That was so cool.
Yeah, bro.
One of the best movies of all time.
Fire movie.
For sure. All right, let's get into college really quick. I wish we had Brad on. I keep trying to call him, but he won't answer. I don't know what's going on. Hopefully he's not dead. But I do think let's dive into it. Let's talk about Oklahoma State, Kansas State. Oklahoma State, man. Brad was super high on Oklahoma State all year long. That's why I wanted to have him on so bad. But Kansas State bent them over and sent them packing 48-0.
That's Max Duggan, right?
Yeah. No, that's TCU. Adrian Martinez.
Yeah, Kansas State, duh.
Adrian Martinez.
I was thinking of the purple, my bad.
They sent them packing. It was an incredible game. Oklahoma State. I don't know what happened, man. I don't know Spencer Sanders. I saw I was working on Saturday, but 48-0. That's for a team that was a competing team for the Big 12 to get blown out like that. Crazy.
That makes you wonder what the hell happened in Nebraska with that dude. What the hell happened?
I know.
How? I guess they don't have. I guess Big 12 teams I don't think are as good as the Big 10s. The top teams at least.
But the Big 10 West was weak though.
West is that's is that Michigan and
no, that's the East.
Michigan State and
that's all. No, that's all out East. The West is Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin. Who else is there?
I thought
Nebraska.
both Michigans are on the same side. I
Yeah.
thought one was on
Michigan. Both Michigan's, Penn State, and Ohio State are all in the East.
Yeah, the leaders.
Yeah, it's very, very one-sided for sure.
I mean,
and Northwestern, I think, is on our side.
I mean, hey, shout out North Dakota State's coaching staff.
Yeah, fair enough. Chris Kleiman. I don't know, man. This is so crazy. Oklahoma State, dude. What in the world? I got no idea, no clue what happened. Just a bad game, bad showing. Not a good look for the mullet.
I mean, they might want to look into that coaching staff. They might just have some actual genius, bro. Like, he literally took that job and took all of his dudes from NDSU with him, and they just obviously they're not going to like national championships, but like they're building a solid.
They're
program.
competing, they're competing.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. They're competing, and it's awesome to see. But yeah, no. Other than that, though, Ole Miss, dude, Texas A&M is the biggest letdown in college football potentially ever. They were so much hype. Number 1 recruiting class. Jimbo Fisher. I know it's his first year or second year, whatever it is. Second year, dude. They look horrible. Like they can't win a game.
It's been longer than that, hasn't it?
So at least 2. It's been at least 2 years.
It's his third. He had Kellen Mond. I'm pretty sure he had Kellen Mond for a year.
He did, I think.
So I want to say it's his third.
Well, he had Zach Calzada last year and Haynes King. Sorry, Brad's texting me. His phone died, but I think he's getting back on. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know, dude. I know Jim has been there for at least 2 years, and it hasn't really. Last year they beat Alabama. Wasn't he the first one to beat Alabama? No, Kirby Smart was, and then Jimbo was the second one.
Yeah, that was so shocked that they beat.
I know Zach Calzada beat him. It was crazy. But yeah, no, Texas A&M, dude. I feel for him. I think people hype him up so much for not doing anything. But Jimbo is that guy. I mean, he was the Florida State guy. He took Jameis and them in Florida State.
Yeah, I still don't know why they fired him. I mean, I guess it is what it is.
Just because Florida State, once they left, Florida State has still been – they've fallen apart, and they still have not been able to climb. No one's been able to turn that program around. Nobody has.
It's annoying, though. Like, teams just fire coaches like bro, maybe let him actually develop and, like, maybe develop his program. Like, I don't know. Jimbo, yeah, he won you a national championship and then had some down years after, but, like, damn, they just cut ties with him like that. Like, it's crazy.
Right. No, absolutely. I hear you.
You saw Auburn fired their head coach? I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, Brian Harsin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got canned.
Do you think dude at Penn State, you think he's gonna be there for much longer?
He has to. James Franklin's a great coach.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not his fault.
That's what I'm saying, but like I feel like there's a lot of coaches that are like that. They just get fired even though like they're good coaches. It's like they're just like, oh, you didn't win this year. Bro, look, it's because Alabama's a dynasty, bro.
If Franklin gets fired, Nebraska better be calling him every single day.
100%.
To be their head coach. James Franklin's a great head coach.
Yeah, definitely. I like him a lot. But
yeah, I don't know. I think Penn State's he's gonna be okay for now because they actually are competitive in some of these games. Now Michigan blew them out, but Ohio State had their way. But I think they're starting to kind of put it back together. They're not as bad as they were during the COVID year. The COVID year, they were so bad.
Yeah.
Like the worst team in the Big Ten, like horrible.
Yeah, well, they probably had a lot of people opt out, to be honest.
Right. And I don't know if you saw the did you see the Tennessee-Kentucky game?
That was such, bro, the atmosphere was so loud in that stadium, even though, for, the first, basically up until that pick six happened, it was pretty, I was like, okay, Kentucky might be solid in here, and then they threw that pick six, and it was kind of over after that. They just kind of got rolled after that. That was a fun game to watch, though, bro. Tennessee is so fun to watch right now.
Yeah, right. No, they are. I hope they come in to Georgia. I hope they play Georgia and smoke them. I hope they roll Georgia, Get Georgia out of the playoff. I want that so bad.
You know what's funny is
It's so
people
boring
have
to watch.
CJ. Is CJ Stroud still in the like?
Yeah, he's still a front runner.
See, that's funny. I don't know who votes on that, but like committee wise, he's still leading. But on every poll I've seen on like Twitter and Instagram, everybody has Hendon Hooker.
Because of the big win against Alabama.
But bro, I think he's better than CJ. I mean, not better, obviously as a quarterback, but like we've seen other quarterbacks that weren't good quarterbacks win Heisman just because of like their team, like Johnny Manziel won the Heisman. He was a good quarterback, but he wasn't a good quarterback, if you know what I mean. Like,
right, he was electric. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but he wasn't like making like accurate reads and like throwing the most accurate balls. But he was.
But in college, it don't matter. The Heisman doesn't matter. It's even about that. It's about who puts on the show.
Hendon Hooker's doing that.
I agree. No, I think Hendon Hooker deserves it right now. But until CJ Stroud gets beat or has a really, really bad game, I just don't see how they take him off because he's been the guy for every single week. Which I don't think he should be, but I think that's what it is. It is what it is.
I agree.
All right. I don't know if Brad's coming on, but if he does, great. But we'll wrap it up anyway. Debo, we got our list for this week. Our list is our top 10 college football programs of like the last 15, 20 years. If you went all time, it's fine. I'm not putting Yale on my list because they haven't played. They weren't good.
I did in the top 25 era.
Okay.
So, because like Yale and Harvard and all them balled when it was before there was.
I'm not putting them in there.
Well, but that was before the top. Like they didn't even do top 25 teams back then. So like I only did it since when they started. I only did it when they started counting championships during the top 25 era. So like Minnesota's in there, but like they're barely in there. Most of
they're in the 60s and 50s, dude. You can't include them. You can't do it.
Yeah.
All right, who you got at your number 10 for your top 10 college football programs of our lifetime-ish?
I had 1 through 9, and I cannot think of a 10th team right now. I was trying to think of a 10th team, and I cannot. Who did you have as 10? I couldn't think of them.
I have Miami at number 10.
Let's see, 10.
My honorable mention. I'll give you some of my honorable mentions. I have LSU is not an honorable mention because they've always been a team there. They've had their down years, but they've always been there. In the early 2000s, they were all right. I got them at number 11, and I got Miami at 10.
See, our lists are a little bit different then.
Who's your number 9?
Miami.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, it's only one spot off.
Yeah, but I should have Miami higher. I don't know. I put LSU. I have LSU up there high just because I like LSU. But
yeah, no, that's fine. This is like a so subjective thing. I mean, you can put who we think, but I just put who I think is. So
I don't really have a definite 10. My 9 is Miami. I can't think of a 10.
That works. My number 9, because of what Phil Fulmer did at this team in the 90s and the early 2000s, I got Tennessee at number 9.
Okay, I respect.
Tennessee, number 9. They've always been there. And when they're good, look at what happens right now. Their franchise, their whole Knoxville turns into something crazy. Yeah. Every time. They're nuts. I got them at number 9. My number 8, I got Nebraska.
Hey, that's wild. That's my 8 too.
I got Nebraska at number 8.
That's crazy.
We know that. We know what game day is like in Nebraska. It don't matter if they're 3-10 or 3-9 or they're 8-0. It does not matter. It's a party. It is nuts every single game. Most consecutive sellouts. Their program and their fan base is the top 10 fan base program all the time.
But on Bussin' with the Boys, that's like a half like Tennessee Volunteers, half Nebraska kind of fan base podcast. Mm-hmm. Like because obviously they play in Nashville, they play for the Titans, and then a lot of the guys they have running their like their video clips and doing all that stuff like are Tennessee fans.
Tennessee guys, yeah.
And even they said when they went to that Nebraska-Michigan game last year when Michigan beat them in that last second play, and even all of them said that were huge Tennessee fans said Nebraska's atmosphere is literally right there with Tennessee's.
Yeah, dude, it's nuts. They're both top 10 atmospheres. They're nuts. They're absolutely crazy. It's super fun. I've actually been to both. I've been to Neyland, and obviously I went to school at Nebraska. We both were at games together. But Neyland was super fun too. I mean, it's a sea of orange on game day. Super cool. Yeah, they both are very, very similar.
I have a question for you. Are you a day game or a night game guy?
Afternoon.
Afternoon?
I like either the 2:30 or the 6 o'clock game.
Yeah.
Because the early morning games, you can't tailgate. You can't enjoy the atmosphere. You can't walk around the stadium. It's just too early.
Yeah.
I'm definitely an afternoon or evening guy for sure.
Yeah.
Something different about night games though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially 6:30 games. I think 6:30 is perfect, or 6 o'clock, because you can tailgate all day, have a blast, do your thing, throw the cornhole around, do your thing, and then the night game, it just builds and builds, and then when the lights come on, it's fun to watch.
When they hit those lights, and then you just see that sea of red.
Yeah.
Oh, big red. Go, big red, go.
I know, bro. Crazy. Yeah. GBR. All right. Number 7. This team is only a top franchise. I have them down because when they're good, they're national takeover. But when they're not, nobody gives a crap about them. That is the USC Trojans.
Oh, really?
I got USC at number 7 because there's so much happening in California that when USC is not good, the celebs don't come to the games. They're not. They don't get the big fan base. But when they're popping, they're popping. I got them at number 7. I couldn't put them in my top 5 because of that reason.
I respect it. My number 7 is Texas.
Hook 'em.
Hook 'em, baby. Oh, yeah. My number 7 is Texas. Hook 'em. Dang. That's weird. I thought you were going to say Texas right there.
Nah, man.
That's crazy. All right. So my number 6, interested to see what yours is, but my number 6, shout out Rudy Rudiger and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
They're my number 6 as well. I got Notre Dame at 6.
Yes, sir.
Their history takes it. They haven't been relevant in a minute, but their history, when old recruits used to get offered by Notre Dame, they knew they were a top of the top, cream of the crop recruit. That program has meant so much historically that you have to put them near your top 5. You have to.
Dude, I think those Notre Dame old school varsity jackets are so sick.
They are clean.
And then, bro, those gold helmets and how they still to this day, every weekend, couple days before, every Thursday night before the game, they still have people, students that go to the school come in, paint the blemishes on the helmet and stuff. That's crazy.
Yeah, right.
The tradition is insane. That's for sure.
It is. It is insane. Absolutely. Number 5, who you got, D?
I think I can't read my writing. I think that's LSU. I'm pretty sure.
5? Okay.
Go Tigers. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
But no, I have LSU up there. Bro, growing up.
When LSU's good, they go too.
My number 10 is Florida. That's who my number 10 would be.
Okay.
But growing up, my 2 favorite teams growing up were LSU and Miami. And I thought LSU was just the cleanest uniforms. They're so simple, but they're so clean. And it's argument, but it might be DVU. There's an argument for some other schools, but it might be DVU.
Yeah.
Tyrann Mathieu, Patrick Peterson, Jamal Adams. You got some studs. And number 7 there, Leonard. If you wear number 7 at LSU, you're an absolute unit. You are a dog.
I don't know who wears it on this year's team, but I'm sure that's a bigger thing to live up to.
Probably Keyshawn Boutte or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Yeah, stud.
You got them number 5?
Yep.
This is where I throw these boys in. That's where I got hook 'em. I got Texas at number 5 because They're the highest, most valuable franchise because they're in Texas. They're the number one revenue building team. Them and Texas A&M are both that way. But I'm gonna put Texas in there at number 5 because when they go, I think of Vince Young. I think they really do go, but they've had too many years of not being on top for me to put them in the top 4.
I agree, definitely.
Who's number 4? Oh, you're number 5. It's LSU, and then who's number 4?
4. OH.
Oh, you got them at 4? Okay.
I
like it.
Bro, something about that Ohio State. At least only reason I put them so high is because when we were in high school, like freshman to senior year, Ohio State was rolling dudes. And when we were in high school, they would have been in a couple. I think it was like our freshman sophomore year. They were still sanctioned, right? Because the year Notre Dame went to the Natty and got blown out, Ohio State would have been in there record wise, but they were still sanctioned and didn't get in that year.
Yeah.
So there's a couple years where they were 12-0, like 11-0, and they didn't make it because of sanctions. So I got to put them up there because of that.
Yeah, I feel that. I'm gonna. Yeah, I had them a little higher on my list because it's Ohio State, but I have their rival number 4, Michigan.
Really? Oh, I forgot to put Michigan on my list.
That's all right. Oh. I got Michigan number 4. The Big House is nuts. The Big House is another electric university where they got over 100,000 that can fit their area. Michigan, you know of Michigan football, the Michigan-Ohio State rivalry. I think it's the biggest rivalry in sports, like in college football. It's not close to me. Michigan-Ohio State's always number 1 game on my schedule. Then I got Red River second. Yeah. But I got Michigan number 4 because they've had so many good teams, and when they're good and Ohio State's good, that game is untouched.
You don't understand how many times I've lost to Michigan and NCAA 14 because their momentum factors absolutely make your play unreadable and you just throw interceptions. So, well, they hold like 110,000 in their stadium.
Yeah, no, the Big House is literally massive.
That is insane.
It is. I got Michigan number 4. Who do you got at 3?
I gotta go with them USC boys.
Okay.
When
they're good, they take over.
Growing up, I just remember watching USC games. You see Snoop Dogg on the sidelines. You had Reggie Bush, Ray Malaluga. You had Clay Matthews. You had just units coming out of there. Pete Carroll had a dynasty there. If he wins that second Super Bowl in the NFL, he honestly might be contention up there for one of the greatest coaches of all time because he's won rings at the college level and NFL level.
Yeah.
He's an absolute genius. Dude's old as balls now, likes to chew gum.
But still is relevant. Still.
Yeah.
Look what he's doing with a team. They get rid of their $200 million quarterback, and they're better without him.
Exactly. Bro. Yeah. Unit.
I agree. I like Pete Carroll a lot. That the whole him cheating thing really hurt. I still feel for Reggie Bush. Give the man his Heisman back. That's the biggest robbery I've ever seen. It's not Reggie Bush's fault. If you're getting a stipend check, or I know they got stipend checks back then. If you're not getting paid, I'm taking the money for sure.
At least if they're gonna take his, how are you gonna take his? But then I get it happened after the NIL thing, but then you have Johnny Manziel just openly admits, I made 30 bands signing autographs for people. Like, well, at least make it even. Like, yeah, give him his Heisman back. They act like everybody wasn't paying athletes in the back. Everybody was. It was hush-hush, especially in the SEC, dude. They were paying, like, shout out another podcast, Busting with the Boys, again, shouting them out.
No free shout-outs.
Will Compton and them, they had a bunch of SEC guys on there, and they were talking about how there definitely used to be a gentleman agreement between the schools and the SEC where you could offer a kid money, but you couldn't offer him more than what the in-state school offered. So say a kid was from Mississippi Alabama could offer him 40,000, but they couldn't offer him more than what Ole Miss could offer him, basically.
Yeah. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. That's
Yeah.
sick. Who do you got for your number 2?
You're a lot of people probably not going to like this, but I got to do it just because of how historically good they
Wait, are you number 2 or number 3?
2. 3 was
I haven't given my number 3 yet. That's on me.
3.
My number 3 is the other half of the Red River rivalry. I have Oklahoma number 3. With all their, they've been good. If you look at USC, how many players they have in the NFL, it's ridiculous. Then if you look at Oklahoma, they're right there with them. They have so many players that translate. Oklahoma is a tradition of loaded talent going to the NFL, especially offensively, and they also have it on defense too. I got Oklahoma number 3 on my list.
I like that. That's what happened my number 2 spot.
Okay.
Yep. I honestly didn't realize how historically good their program.
Their history is nuts.
Yeah, I didn't appreciate how historically good their program was until recently. But yeah, no, they got some units, and my favorite NFL player of all time is from their school. So
yeah,
got a good shout out.
I agree. If you look at every single era of college football, take 5-year eras. There is not a time where Oklahoma is not a top 5 school at any of those years. I guarantee you. They're always, every 5 years, I guarantee they're at least a top 10, top 5 program, at least somewhere in there. And I don't think any other team can say that, maybe other than Ohio State.
I agree, definitely.
My number 2 is OH.
I
got OH because of the rivalry, because of what they mean. Right now, they're the perennial best team in the Big Ten, always. Yeah. You have to go through. The reason why I have this team number 2 and then who we both have number 1 is because to win the conference, you have to go through this team. That is a dominant program because Texas and Oklahoma, it's not the case. Oklahoma has been lately, and they have been historically, but Texas has had their years where, in their time periods where they've been on top. They have had that. So I can't put them because of the lack of dominance every single year, as opposed to Ohio State, who every single year, if you even think about getting in the Natty, you got to beat them. You got to go through them to get to the Big Ten.
Yep. We all know our number 1.
Absolutely, and it's the boys. Yes, historically they haven't been it, but they do have Bear Bryant era. They do have Nick Saban, obviously, but it's the same thing as my Ohio State argument. To get to where you want to go, you got to beat that team in Alabama. You have to.
Yeah, I honestly, if it wasn't for the Nick Saban era, Alabama would not be in here.
I agree.
Alabama would not.
But it's been that dominant to where they have to be.
Yeah. Yeah, but even because they had the most even before wasn't it when they beat LSU in the championship? That's when they became the most winningest. They had the most championships or something like that, and they rattled off another 5. Even when they had the most championships when they beat LSU, I still that was when Alabama was just coming on with Nick Saban. So but now we know what it is. They're that now.
They've dominated for a decade and a half. I mean, that is stupid. I mean, it's so unbelievable what they're doing. I mean, there's years of cultural history, but you can argue, if you want to go ancient history, they have that too. They don't have that, but they have an argument to at least be a notable team. Yeah. But from 2007 on, they're untouchable. They're so good. Yes, you have your Clemsons who slide in. People are probably going to be pissed off that we didn't put Clemson in, but they're historically – they've had good years, but they're not it. They're not it. They don't have the same tradition and as a program as Miami, Nebraska. That's not even close to the same atmosphere as those schools.
Oh, I would probably put Michigan at my 10 now that I think about it.
Yeah, they got to be.
I'd put Florida at 11 and then 12, North Dakota State University.
Yeah, I like that.
Bro,
I like it.
You know North Dakota State has won the Natty the last 9 out of 11 years.
This year they're not going to, but
no, but that is insane, bro.
right.
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to win the Natty when your quarterbacks leave for first-round draft picks every year.
Right, I know. And for an FCS school to say that, that's pretty darn impressive.
Yeah, they've had two. Well, Trey Lance was what, second overall, or
Yeah.
where did he go? They've had 2 second overall quarterback picks. That is insane, bro.
And the guy
that
that sandwiched in between them was also a late round draft pick that's still in the NFL.
Yeah, Colts, right?
I don't know where he's at now. He's bounced around so much, but
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, Well, I know Easton Stick was at the Chargers like 2 years ago, but I don't think he's there anymore.
I want to say he's with the Colts. I'm almost positive.
Is he?
I want to say Ellinger's. I want to say he's the third string behind Ellinger, maybe.
Huh. Awesome.
Maybe.
But yeah, no, that's basically our show. Debo, we got to start putting out clips. We have the Fan Cave Clips page. I have it on our YouTube.
Yeah.
I just don't know how to clip things. If we can figure out how to clip like all of our top 10 lists and all of our fun stuff like that, if we can learn how to clip those, that'd be really fun to start doing that.
Yeah, I gotta figure that out. I'm gonna YouTube that today at some point and figure it out.
Even if you can screen record and do it that way. But if you look at our Fan Cave page, there's also a Fan Cave Clips page that I've made.
That's tough. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Get those going. Anyway, that's our show. Debo, do you got anything to wrap it up with on our show today? Do you have anything you want to talk about?
Thanks, Brad, for coming on. Appreciate it, bro. 01 Hurricanes are still the best team of all time. That's it.
We had a very, very intense kind of argument about the 01 Hurricanes team and some of the recent teams before the show. Well, it's not going to be on the show, but we had a pre-show. We were in the chat here. We were kind of going off about it. It was pretty fun.
I don't want to say anything because Brad's not in here to give us talking points.
Right.
So I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, right. No, I don't want to go into it, but yeah, that's good. Like and subscribe in the chat. Happy Halloween. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I know I did. We had a blast. I hope that you guys were safe this weekend. Nothing crazy happened. And like and subscribe and put in the chat on our Battle of the Arrows if you have anybody that you wanted on the list that didn't make the list. And if there's any other programs you think we'd excluded, put it in the chat. I want to hear it. Go Yodis.
Deuce.